Right, so let's now speak to governance expert, Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu. Prof, good evening to you. Thank you so much for joining us. There is so much to touch on, but I think just your overall, I suppose, bird's eye view on what we're hearing, this letter making the rounds on social media. Ntambulo Ndlela, spokesperson, saying he saw it for the first time on social media and that the parliamentary leader says his signature is being abused, his digital signature. Just your initial thoughts on what this says about the stability of MK Party in Parliament.
Thank you to have me and good evening to your listeners. It would seem to me they're saying that where there is smoke, there is fire. Seems to be true in this case. I think we are seeing the MK Party imploding. It does not seem like there is consistency or stability in terms of leadership. And it would also seem that those who have joined late in the party have no space, because I think the contestation is clearly around who is leading and who is influential. It would seem that those that are appointed in leadership positions are not as influential as those that are closer to the president, which is President Zuma. In this instance, it would seem to me that some people, some quarters within the Umkhonto weSizwe are not very happy with the current chief whip within the party, and therefore that frustration has spilled in the streets, in the sense that it has gone out of the caucus and now is clearly spilling out in the general public. This is an important thing for one to notice, that when there is no confidence in
Prof Ndevu, are you still there? Yes, okay, I got you. You can continue, Prof. Go ahead.
Yes, I was just saying that this clearly shows the instability that is happening within the party and seems to erode the trust that the public has shown in the party in the previous elections.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot to look at. I do want to look at the issue of the chief whip, though. Colleen Makhubele, we saw her becoming part of the MK Party. This is after we actually saw her previous party that she led, Sarah, becoming, I suppose, a pivotal, playing a pivotal role in the formation of what we now call the Progressive Caucus, for instance. So I do want to talk about what her position in this party represents, considering that she comes from a political party of her own and the role that she brings to the MK Party.
It would seem that this is a concerted strategy from Umkhonto weSizwe to recruit people that seems to be popular or to have a bigger following. And Ms. Makhubele seems to have a party that was holding that had a seat in parliament. And therefore, in line with their strategy, they then took her and ensured that she is not only a member of Umkhonto weSizwe, but she is in the leadership position. This is something that they want to use. They also want to show that they can take influential leaders and give them important roles within the party. As to whether internally people are happy with this particular strategy and decision is something else. It would seem to me that there are quarters within Umkhonto weSizwe that think she is too junior, or she has joined the party late and therefore cannot be parachuted to such an important role within the party. And probably this outcry is coming from that position.
The spokesperson of the party, though, going on to say that she is the chief whip of Umkhonto weSizwe and she continues to be the chief whip of Umkhonto weSizwe. Then, when asked about some of the allegations made in this letter, and the allegations made against him, now some of them were disrespectful communication, including instances of rude, arrogant and dismissive communication towards parliamentary members, including senior leadership, have been noted. Those are the allegations against Mr. Ndlela. What do you make of that as such a front-facing member of the party?
It would seem that Mr. Ndlela did not dispute the existence of this letter. But what he goes on to say is that there are suspicion that the signature of the leader of Umkhonto weSizwe in parliament has been faked, but he does not dispute, he does not even engage with the allegation, which might be consistent with what we have heard from Mr. Floyd Shibambo and the others about Mrs. Zuma, who undermines leadership, and therefore Mr. Ndlela, by their proxy to President or former President Zuma, who is the president of MK. So it would seem to be consistent with the allegations that have been made by other members who are unhappy with Umkhonto weSizwe.
there's the allegations made in this supposed letter where the parliamentary leader's signature, according to Ndlela, is being abused. And in that letter, he says, while I was speaking, Zuma Sambudla interrupted me repeatedly, displaying unruly behavior that required reprimanding. She noisily rose from her seat, grabbed her belongings and exclaimed, "Are we not done?" She's a pivotal part of that party, daughter to the leader. We've seen previous tensions with her, with who we now consider as the former SG of the party, playing out on social media. Just your view on her role and certainly the future that she has within this party.
Clearly, she plays a very significant role within the party. She might be seen from other quarters as the eyes and ears of his father, who is the leader of the party. And one cannot underplay the role that she therefore plays. It would seem that in this case, many leaders have complained about her conduct, have complained about the fact that whenever she transgressed some of the rules and the expectation within the party, she is not dealt with as harshly as would other leaders being dealt with. It would seem that she has a free role. It would seem that she plays a role of owning the party or undermining everybody who is not very close to his father.
This is, of course, the final question, and here I know quite somewhat speculative, but we've seen the exit, well, of course, not the exit, because the SG, former SG, insisting that he is still very much a part of the MK party. But as he goes about this consultation, this consultative process, there's the question about what a politician's career looks like post the MK party. Something to reflect on, perhaps?
Look, I think there are two things that one seems to observe from what is happening in the MK party. It's a party that is imploding. It's a party that is dying a slow death in terms of the perception in society as to what it stands for, and the fights are around positions of authority within the party itself. The second issue, as you've indicated, to individual politicians who have been part of this party, I think many of them might be regretting in their little corners, and it might be difficult to come back from this setback of joining a party that you thought initially stand for the good, stand for the rights of ordinary citizens, and you find out later on that it does not stand for that. And as Mr. Shivambo has realized, I don't think it will be easy for him to come back from this.
Prof, we do appreciate your time. Thank you so much for speaking to us. Professor Zwelinzima Ndevu, there, governance expert with the School of Public Leadership at Stellenbosch University.